KeithAndrewNetWork. The whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove them and stand out to something.
Hi, I'm Breanna Dillon. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew, and it's an amazing show. He's doing a great job, great questions, and you should check him out.
Hi, I'm Irena Huljak. I'm on Keith Andrew's show. I'm happy to be here again, and he's a great interviewer, so awesome.
972. Today, I sit down with two beautiful women who are upcoming professional actresses in the world of entertainment. That being said, Box 2, the first question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself and a little about your background.
My name's Breanna Dillon. I'm a Toronto-based actor. I studied theater at the neighborhood Playhouse in New York, and I have a independent theater company in Toronto, and I also audition and act in film and television and voiceover.
Oh, wonderful. Where in New York did you audition or take classes?
I did the 2-year program at the neighborhood Playhouse. It's a Meisner-based theater school. That's where Sanford Meisner founded his technique.
Oh, that's very cool. I never heard of it, but I would definitely check it out.
Oh yeah, they've got great alumni. Diane Keaton and Dylan McDermott and many. It's a great spot. It was life-changing.
Oh, absolutely. Box 1, 2, same exact lesson for you.
My name is Irena Huljak. I am a Toronto-based actress. I also direct, and I am writing some plays now. I've studied I studied theater in Toronto, London, and New York, and that was life-changing as well. New York was amazing. And I focus on film and television right now, but I am working on a one-person show.
Oh, that's amazing. And now I'm going to change up the format because both of you are familiar with each other. So we're going to have fun where in a couple minutes you guys can interact with each other, ask each other questions, you can ask me questions. But the theme of the show is about disability, so let's might as well get the big elephant out of the room. With that being said, have you guys worked with people with disabilities besides me? And for people with learning disabilities or any types of disabilities, but want to follow in your footsteps, so what are your words of wisdom? In Box 2, we're going to start off with you.
I guess the most recent thing that comes to mind is working with like actors that are in the prime of their life, like when they become older, into their 80s, when memory is not as sharp, or just needing that extra time and care and repetition, or needing, to be assisted in a sense, just making sure. I did a play where it was just, my job was also just to make sure they were where they needed to be, standing by, and also off stage if they needed to be fed any lines or anything like that, and just making sure, and like this was, someone who is an iconic legend, so you want to make sure that they're, looked after. So I guess that's that type of change that happens to all of us eventually as we get older, and just how we have to still try to navigate what we do, but especially as when you're an artist or an actor, and your senses and all of that are so crucial to what you're doing.
No, absolutely. And what about you?
I have worked with, particularly recently, children who are, I guess, 11 and 12, so preteens. And so one of them is a lovely actor, but suffers from a pretty high level ADHD. So his focus was quite challenging, and having him in the room in my class was challenging as well when he was not acting a scene. When he was in the scene, he was fine, but the distractions were quite high. But we did a great film together, a little short film, which I'm pretty proud of, and I think he did a stellar job. So yeah, I absolutely would work with him again for sure. But it takes a certain skill level to be patient and continuously be conscious of how to communicate with somebody who is distracted by everything.
That's true. And I'm guilty because I'm easily distracted, and I like shiny objects.
That's good.
But the next one I want to ask you: if everything you guys did in the acting world, what are some of your best acting advice you have ever received? And we're gonna stay with you.
There's so much there. I do have one that comes up a lot, only because I think it's been drilled into my head. But that ego will kill everything that you love. So that one was the really big one that I still remind myself to be humble. So yeah, that's but that one I've heard almost daily while I was in New York.
What about you, Box Two?
Always the classic, don't forget to breathe.
Yeah.
And also to know that you are enough, the work you put into it whether you're building a character or preparation, or it's just trusting in yourself and not letting the anxieties or the fears take over, because they can be quite debilitating. If just trusting and believing that you are enough and that work you've done is enough.
There's a two-part question that you did bring up, I do want to talk about. And, sometimes with me, I'm close to 972 episodes. And you're right about what you said. Sometimes, tune out the bullshit, tune out all the negativity. It doesn't matter what your coworkers, your family says. It doesn't care. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I did 972 episodes, and I am good enough. And you shouldn't feel accomplished. You should go and feel like, not saying you're overconfident, but it's a sense of an accomplishment that you did this all by yourself, and it makes you feel good about yourself. So you should accept the fact you did accomplish an important fact.
Yeah, that's an amazing amount of shows that you've done. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I bring it up, that goes to the next part. I like asking hard-hitting questions, so you can throw it back at me. So I'll throw a curveball at you. You can throw it back at me. Have no cards up my sleeve. So you mentioned that you're being put on the spot and you walk into a situation. Now, with that being said, and Box 2, you were invited to be on my show. So when you were invited to be on my show, what was your honest first reaction? What made you say yes?
I guess my, initial reaction is just, oh wow, like someone is doing something, as you said, like, showing up, making it happen, curious as to what it was about. And also, I think just shared communication and shared stories and experience is what life is all about, really. And yeah, always happy to chat, I guess.
No, I agree. Throwing it back over to Box 1, how would you compare this to the first time we talked? And do you feel more comfortable this time around?
Oh, absolutely. I feel more comfortable because Breanna is here, and I enjoy developing my newfound friendship with her. So I'm really excited by that. Whatever chance I can get. And also, I've spoken to you before also, Keith, and I think that you do some really good work. And I mean, to answer your question as to why I jumped on even the second time, I think there is a benefit for everyone here, not only for you and your show, but it does look not that I'm aiming to impress anyone, but it does look great to be on a podcast, and it really does help me out as I'm attempting to apply for more things. So it's a great support from you as well.
No, absolutely. You're supporting me, I'm supporting you. And, I am guilty of, I was looking back, I interviewed people like free time. I don't usually do 4 interviews. If I really like you, I come back 3 times. If I didn't invite the same person for a group episode. But now that I'm closer to my goal of 1,000, my mindset saying, okay, accomplish my first goal. Now, my second goal is making sure every single episode gets over 100 views. Because you can invite the same person back over and over and over, but if no one's watching it, oh, yes, it's a nice conversation, but at the end of the conversation, you're pretty much just wasted half hour, because if your audience are not commenting or watching, it's kind of like, what the hell you're doing? If I give you an example, I interviewed Kansas Michelle, and the last time I checked, her episode was over 700 views. So I know for a fact, the next time I have her on the show, we're going to reach that goal. If someone's interview is a 0, and then I have them on again, saying, okay, I take responsibility. My brother says I don't take responsibility, but I take responsibility. If your episode is a 0, I look back and I say, okay, let me ask better questions. Let me fix the scenery. Let me fix the lighting. But if we do a second interview and it's still a 0, it's obviously a miscommunication. So obviously, I take responsibility. Say, why is her interview not getting any views? But if you're interviewing the same person 2 or 3 more times, and obviously he said to me, the insanity is a sign of doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same result. So I feel like that in the same extent, if I interview somebody and they're still not getting the same results, obviously I'm setting myself up for failure, but that's just not about me. So my new goal is, if your interview gets traffic, you be back on the show. If you're not getting nothing, then okay, it was nice working for you. But that's why I only work with people that take this seriously. Yesterday, I shared the episode everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. I expect you guys to do the same thing. Not like saying, well, I did my part, and it wasn't great, it wasn't glamorous, but it's going to be huge. I have to tell you, it's going to be huge. But if you're not going to throw your help in there, it's kind of like...
I think you're right. I think there's a lot of people who come in and they have the lovely idea of being interviewed, but they also are assuming that possibly that the company does that work. But I have shared as well, and there is more to share. And I have no doubt that Breanna and I will use this as to help. But I think that the assumption is that this is the company's part.
Yeah, so, and it falls on me, and I understand that. But I can talk to you too off the air about this. I don't want to take up your time. But all I'm going to say, it's a team effort. But back to the question I want to ask you is, what are you most likely to become famous for?
Oh gosh, for gosh, being me. I don't know, Irena, how do you answer that kind of question? Like,
well, I don't. I think. Yeah, like it is going to be you. I think that. I think that I've been watching you being really successful in the last. I mean, you are hard. You and I share the same kind of hardness of like, go get them, which is what we need in this industry. And we think we don't applaud all the successes we've had already. So Breanna has. She's so she's had a huge success last summer, which was wonderful with a tour to Britain or England, and
yeah, a great play. I think it'll be all of a combination of great writing, great people at the right time, but also I think it's a lot. Sorry, not to cut you off. It just made me kind of have a clarity of how to answer that question.
Yeah.
But I think it's the work you put in, or like what is unique about you, whether it's making a connection, collaborating, writing something, being fortunate enough to be a part of something and adding to it will make it good. And
I think as a Canadian artist or actresses, you have to do it all. You have to be ready to write, and you have to be ready to direct, and you have to be ready to act. There's no like, it's no longer one thing, right? There's no way you can do it.
Yeah, it's not, you were just pumping gas at the gas station and
someone discovered you.
Someone just went, yes, you.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny, I always hear that story, and obviously it's real, it's not really a story. Right place, right time. And I'm like, I'm 34, I'm going to be 35. When the hell will it be my time, my turn to be in the right place? Now, for me, I'm guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Should write a book about that. That's a great title, by the way. If you use that, I will take credit for it. But I am guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But there's so many people that say I was in the right place at the right time. I'll give you an example. She passed away, but the a woman, Trini Trang, who was the Yellow Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And this is an example of being in the right place, right time. She's sitting out there with a bunch of her friends, and they just walked past her, this beautiful young woman, who happens to be Asian because they were looking for an Asian woman to play the character role. And they were like, well, she's funny. And I guess there was, in a way, it's kind of creepy because they were watching her from afar and they're watching her personality. Like, oh, she's funny. She's outgoing. All right, we're going to pick her. But, it's the same thing. You be in the right place because you never know who's watching you. Unfortunately, people are always going to judge you. But the same thing when you work in retail. You have the first 10 seconds make it a great impression on somebody because you never know who's on that line. You're going to meet the same people going up as you're coming back down, so never burn any bridges. Mm-hmm. You're going to meet the same people either way, going up and going back down.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back into like ego will kill everything that you love. But I mean we're both. Are you working on something right now?
Right now, just writing. I'm working on trying to shape an idea that I have that I want. I don't feel ready talking about it yet, but I am trying to focus inward with my writing, especially going into the quieter months of an actor's life. Usually, like everything. Auditions stop kind of by December. Things are closed over the holiday. So writing, creating, just staying busy. And I know you are my inspiration for what you're working on right now and all the things that you're currently doing.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. The Amelia Earhart show is the Amelia.
Yes, I wasn't gonna mention the name in case it wasn't allowed to be said, but yes, it's an amazing idea, a concept.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I'm doing a little. One of my jobs has to change next week because it's getting in the way from my writing. So, Keith, I'm really working hard on this, trying to figure out some to sit down and to write for 2 hours is tough for me, and I get distracted, and I'm starting to find a rhythm, but there's always something else that, oh, you got to think of that thing over there. Did you pay that? So it's slower than I thought.
No, absolutely. And now the next question I want to ask you, I haven't asked this one in a long time. What is difficult about being an actress for both of you? Well, let me ask you this in a different way, because we're talking about stereotypes with disabilities. Now, what's to sound like the oxymoron, not to sound like an asshole on my part, but I'm gonna try to say it without butchering it. What is the stereotypes when you guys walk into a room? Because they're obviously, say, two beautiful women, and you say, before you walk into the room, you say, this is what I want. Obviously, when you walk into the room, they obviously have their minds made up of what acting roles they want you to do. So, do you ever feel like you ever been stereotyped?
All the time. All the time. Yeah. Yeah. I've been stereotyped for sure. Particularly because like I have a very tough voice recently. So there's this like really lovely a lot of people are like, oh, she's like really in touch with her, I guess, her masculine side and things like that. So I'm stereotyped as the tough person, which is okay. It's okay. Or there's also because I'm getting older, what I want to fight off, but I'm getting offered less lover roles, or the scenes about, which is okay too, but it's not. It's I think that's a stereotype that to be fought against for women specifically is to fight against the like you can fall in love at any age, you can have adventure at any age, just like someone who is a disabled actor can fall in love on stage and talk about sex and have a marriage, so that's partly what I'm battling against right now. And also I'm a white woman. I'm a white woman, and I'm going out for more parts that are I'm finding that they're like, well, just telling the story of the abusive white woman in a racial story, somebody that is maybe racist or something. That I don't know if that's stereotype, but that's what I have been going out a little bit more for.
Well, you did bring up a good point. Supposedly, but it is a fact. I just gotta say it. What the hell? White people are known to be racist, and you can't sweep 200 years under the carpet. But that's a stereotype because you look at so many scenarios of criminals and convicts, and they all happen to be white. Go figure on that. But anyway, we can talk about that at a different time. But Box 2, I want you to hear your story. Have you ever walked into a room and were you ever sized up and
Yeah, I mean it's been such a long time since we've been in a room. So much of the time is, we're just making our tapes in our, bedrooms, and then you send it off and you're going, I don't know what happened with that. I mean, I think definitely like similar to what Irena said, just people just assuming by your picture that you're of a certain story or a certain genre, whereas there is a lot more to it. And that's why, one of the reasons why I love being an artist is like creating or being that or surprising people as well. Not just, oh, you're the young mom or you're the sidekick, or, there's so much more to the pool of opportunities, which are there. And I think, it's trailblazing more than ever. The how much more is available to women, and especially in Toronto, especially, I think, just because it's smaller in terms of how big the pool are and how many opportunities there are in larger places like LA and New York and London. I think it's always just if you can get into a room as well, then that is your opportunity to surprise or to break the stereotype. But at the same time, the stereotype could be why you're in the room in the first place. So I guess it's hard to know how it'll work out.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's why I invite people to be on the show, because I like giving people opportunities. You guys didn't know me for a hole in the wall, but I looked you up on Facebook, and I said I like what I saw, and I want to extend my hand in friendship. But the biggest thing was giving you an opportunity. everyone deserves a opportunity to show me what you bring to the team. And it isn't just me. It's any company, it's any organization. Everyone deserves a chance to have their stories shared, their 15 minutes of fame. And if it's a good cause, at least you're giving someone the opportunity. It's not saying you're sitting there and you're looking at somebody's pictures and you're choosing them based off their biology, if they're a man or a woman, their background, what they can do, what they can't do. Because when you have that mindset of being an asshole, saying, "Well, she looks pretty, so I guess I'm gonna pick her," but she can't act her way out of a wet paper bag. But you can say, "This one is not really my type," and now she's really fugly, but oh my God, she's one of the best. Say, I know you're trying to not to laugh. It's okay. You can laugh. It's okay. But the point is,
it's a hilarious one.
but the point is,
I just gotta, yeah. I mean, I guess that the whole casting for one's type is it's over a bit, but yeah.
No, I agree. The point is, don't judge a book by the cover. And I give you an example, and that's perfect for me because I walked into a job interview, and you have the first 10 seconds to make an impression on somebody, but it depends on their attention span. Some people have 3 seconds. Well, let's say 5, but that's very be nice about it. But as soon as they look at you, I can't snap my fingers. They already made up their mind about you. I'm like, can't I just tell you my experience of what I did and what I did to get to this point? It's like, nope, you had 3 seconds, next. But you can never judge somebody. Because, hey, for me, I read and learn at a 5th grade to high school level. I fall under the spectrum for being retarded. I was told, if you didn't tell me you had a disability, I wouldn't have known. I was told that you should hide a disability. Some people tell me I should use the disability. But the point is, as soon as you tell people you have a disability, automatically their guard is up. And it's kind of like, how about you relax and let me explain myself and share my experiences, because there's no one out there that I have seen that has a disability but has a talk show. And I'm not saying I have a big ego, or a lot of people say I have my head up my ass, but it pleases me to break the status quo. Because when you think of people with disabilities, you don't think of a talk show. You don't think of being an actor. Well, it's the last 2 minutes. I'm going to pass it over to you.
I'm and Breanna and I are here because we're also not only are you giving us this opportunity, but we're giving you the opportunity as well. And so because we both believe, and I think that together we're creating something awesome. And I do believe that, I want to thank you so much, Keith, because with these 2 opportunities that has been happening. I can use them definitely. I have seen some numbers in the last interview go, but I'm using this to now push to get a speaking engagement, 100%. So I think that you'll be happy with the results.
I've never been on a podcast before, so it's a first. And actually, I only just started listening to them this year. I'm very green with the way we communicate now, and wanting to be a part of it and get to know people that are creating these platforms and sharing an idea and a vision and wanting to talk about whether it's acting or what people's experiences are at any point. Yeah, that's the main thing was, and also it's, as I'm doing it, I'm going, gosh, I having these conversations or really having to think and be thoughtful and honest is a good challenge, as well as just kind of it reveals clarity to myself, but also as you guys share as well, it stimulates you. It's great stimulation, and it builds, right? So, and I think what you're building is really great. So I'm happy to be here and have a chat today.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. But wrapping up, if you're watching on LinkedIn, make sure to like, comment, join our LinkedIn fan page. We're also on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. There is also a Facebook fan page. Our goal for a part 2 episode is to reach 100 views. Once we reach 100 views, we can definitely do a part 2. But you guys are invited to be part of a Christmas episode and the anniversary shows, or any special shows that we do down the road. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. I'll say thank you very much, and until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.